untouched natural beauty as you visit hidden coves and beaches along the coastline with any bang-bang whole or crafty experience. We offer a variety of adventure opportunities including sport fishing, sunset cruises, island adventures, whale and dolphin watching, and water taxi service. To book, contact Captain Warren at telephone number 1758 713-4196. Seabreeze Adventures, not just a tour, but an adventure.
Fire FM 107.7 presents Full Disclosure, a hot-hitting political program bringing you the facts on political issues. Hosted by Foster Chico every Monday from 4 to 7 p.m. on Fire FM 107.7. Call us at 758-572-3473. It's Full Disclosure this Monday and every Monday 4 to 7 p.m. with Foster Chico.
Good evening everybody. Tuned in to Fire FM. This is Full Disclosure, I'm Foster Chico. I'm there with Angie. Sorry for the late start due to, today is a holy day and everybody is holy at their home, so transport system is not running as efficient as during the normal week. But we are here and hopefully we'll have a good show. We'll keep you well informed of what happened over the weekend, what is due to happen in the coming week. Hopefully you're safe at home. I guess the weather has kept you at bay to some extent. So you have no reason not to be listening to us right now because you can't go anywhere because of the weather.
I think the weather will make the Prime Minister very happy.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Now Wasco too should be happy that although there is more water, more rain, is more silt. So I don't know, Wasco will say even though we have water, we have more silt. So we still don't have water. So for the people who are in areas like Moshi and up in the north, who still don't have water, take some of the advice from the Prime Minister and do some water harvesting. Make sure you have, or rather than your guttering going down in the drain, cut it halfway and put some bathtubs and drums under it to get some. Because that's what the Prime Minister said. He observed people guttering going down the drain, flowing water straight into the drain, and they are the ones complaining.
The tanks were collecting Wasco water.
Yes. So, also drivers, be very careful on the road tonight and for the rest of the week because it has been raining off and on and the road is very slippery. After all the dust and the hot sun, the road was dusty, now it's wet and it's slippery, so be very careful, especially motorcyclists. I saw a motorcycle accident. Unfortunately, the motorcyclist, I am told, passed away. That happened at Lakai, Denry. And one of my tips, safety tips today, the first one goes out to the motorcyclists. Because of the size of your vehicle and the speed that you can travel at a short distance, you are not very easily seen. So when you're approaching an intersection or you intend to pass a line of vehicles like you'll normally do, you have to be very careful because you can fit very easily in a blind spot. Okay, if you're driving a four-wheel drive vehicle, a car or a truck or pickup van, those vehicles have a lot of blank spots on them. And for a motorcycle, you would fit within that blank spot so easily. You would not believe how a vehicle, you'd be coming head on with a vehicle and the driver may not see you because of blank spots in that vehicle. So be very careful. Most of the times, and most motorists will tell you that when a motorcycle is overtaken, they hear the motorcycle before they see it. Especially those motorcycles with the big sounds. And some of them who don't have, I don't know if it's deliberately, some of you all don't have silencers on your motorcycles. And that leads to a lot of noise pollution too. So, because you all are small in size, and you all are moving very fast, much faster than the normal vehicle, you all have to exercise greater care on the road. And I was so disappointed to see and saddened to see that motorcyclist lying next to a pickup van on the road surface with injury to his head. And from the time I saw that injury on his head, I didn't see a helmet. I'm not saying he didn't have one, but it was not in the photo, in the clip that I saw. I said, boy, a head injury like that, and that kind of damage, there is a slight chance that that driver is going to make it. Later in the day, I got news that he had passed. So, first caution, motorcyclists. And some of you wear those helmets, those German helmets. That's just like an eggshell, half of an eggshell on your head, with no chin strap. That will not do you all any good. Because as soon as there is a collision, the first thing that will fly away is that helmet. Because it has no chin strap attaching it to your head. All right. The second tip I would want to give is for any vehicle owner. If you're going to loan somebody your vehicle, some of us, we have friends visiting from overseas. They come in for jazz or they come in for carnival and Journée Creole. And when they come, we give them our vehicles. If we have one or two vehicles, if you have an extra. And they may get a ticket issued to the vehicle. And they will not give you as the owner that ticket. So what they do, they either discard the ticket or they would put the ticket in your glove compartment of your vehicle. And months after, because you're not aware of that, months after, you are going to be approached by the police, tell you you have a ticket. You didn't get it yourself, but the driver or the person who you loaned the vehicle to would have received that ticket and not inform you. Now there is something called vicarious liability. What the person does with your vehicle, you will pay for it. You as the owner will pay for it. Except in the case where the person got a ticket on his name or her name from the police, you would not be responsible. But if that ticket is issued to the vehicle and it does not have a name on it, automatically you, the owner, would be responsible for paying that ticket. So those are things that you may not be aware of, and always be cautious when you loan somebody your vehicle, that person has a driver's license, that person is aware. Just for information, they can tell what insurance company you insured with, whether you insured, and so on, so that if they get involved in a situation, they can give accurate information. All right, so those were your 2 tips. As customary, I want to continue giving 2 clips, 2 safety tips at the start of each program. So welcome again. Let me say good evening to the Castries branch, Mr. Peter Chico and family. Let me say good day to the executive members, the persons who came out to support us, persons who came out to vote, sponsors, friends of the party, everybody. Good evening. It's nice to be here today. I was not aware. I was totally unaware until very late that today is a holiday. And so I got in touch with Angie, and she told me, well, if I want to do the show, she will be here. So we are a bit late because of transport. There is absolutely very little transport on the road, so that took us some time to get here. But I'm happy I'm here to share that information with you all. And we have a lot to talk about. The events of last week. A lot to talk about. So we can do it within the space of 2 hours. Hour and a half to 2 hours. Last week, the nation was rocked by a murder. A murder of a young lady who had some domestic issues prior, and her spouse she had a protection order taken out against her spouse, and unfortunately she was shot and killed in a vehicle on the street. Now, so far what we understand is that, according to the news, is that the spouse has surrendered himself to the police. So a lot of the discussion last week was on protection order and how somebody on a protection order was denied bail in the first instance and subsequently applied for bail through the High Court and got bail. I did some reading on that matter. Well, I did some reading in our criminal code. And just to get a better understanding of bail as it relates to protection orders and so on. Bail before the court, bail before the magistrate court, and bail before the High Court. And a lot of people don't understand, so we must start from the start. What is bail? And you hear people use that word bail, and a lot of people may not understand the obligation that you have when you're on bail. If you find yourself in any situation where the police prefer a charge against you, if it's a misdemeanor, meaning a small criminal matter but not a very serious matter, such as probably if you were misbehaving, disrupting the public peace, let us say, being disorderly, being drunk and disorderly, or minor damage to property, or assaulting somebody, or insulting words and so on, those are offenses that the police would arrest you for if they see you, if they view, if the offense is committed within the police view. So you're walking downtown and you make it noise, or you take a bottle and you pelt it and you break a bottle in the city, and one or two bottles, and you misbehaving because you have drunk some alcohol, a police officer on the beat arrests you and take you to the station. During the course of that day, within the 24-hour period, the police officer may prefer charge against you, either for disorderly conduct or any nuisance offense within the criminal code. There are so many things that they can charge you for. Insulting words and obscene words and so on. Those offenses are bailable offenses. That's offenses that the police can bail you on your own. Now, bail is actually entering into a promise that you're going to come to court on the day that the police tells you or writes on a form, the bail form, for you to attend court to hear that particular charge. So the police officer will probably call your parent, call your spouse, whoever, and when they're going to bail you, and they're going to make you enter into a recognizance or promise or an agreement to that you are going to be released today to come back to court to hear that charge that you're arrested for. Let us say on the 10th of July, 2026. So when you agree, the police will make you sign on that form, and the police officer in charge of the station would sign wherever you sign to indicate that, yes, you did go into that recognizance or that agreement to come to court on that day. And normally they would attach a fee, which you would not have to pay. But for small offenses that the police can bail people on, it's normally about $500 a fee. That is the fee, the penalty that most likely the court may, at the time, I don't know if they have raised it. I guess by now they would have raised that. But at the time, 10 years ago or 20 years ago, that is a common fee that they would attach to bail. So with the magistrate, most of those summary offenses or small offenses would have a penalty of about $250 or $500. So the bail would be, parallel to that or similar to that. So you would sign on the police register that you are going to attend court on the 10th of July this year, 9 o'clock in the morning, at whichever court, A, B, C, or D court. And in default, if you don't come on that day, you will be rearrested without a warrant. You'll be rearrested, and that $500 you'd owe the Crown or you'd owe the state $500 for breach of that initial contract that you signed. Okay, so that's one aspect of bail. There is a second aspect of bail where you are taken before a magistrate. Now, it's for more serious offenses like firearm offenses, drug offenses, rape, murder, and those big offenses, robbery. The police will not give you a $500 bail himself. What the police would do would take you before the court, before the magistrate, for the court to grant you bail. At that time, when you charge, you will have a lawyer, hopefully, and there would be a bail hearing where the police would present you. You would be presented in the court. You would probably be asked to plead guilty, not guilty, or guilty after the charge is read to you. Sometimes you will not even be asked to plead because of the nature of the case. And then there would be a bail hearing. Your lawyer would say why you should be bailed and so on, your good character, first time that happened to you, it was a mistake, whatever. You're a family man, you can surrender your documents, you're not going anywhere, you have no reason to run, and so on. The police, on the other hand, would say whether they have a problem with you getting bail. Let us say they would say, well, you're already on bail for one offense, and look, you commit another offense. That is the most common one. And they would say also that they had so much difficulty in getting you to answer that charge because you have no fixed place. Nobody knows where you live in. You have no house. You just living everywhere. That would be another reason for them to deny bail. Or you interfere with people, you're a menace to society. You have had 20 convictions already. Every time they bail you, people come to the station, make reports against you. And all of those piling up together would be one of the factors that the police would put forward to deny you bail. Now, all of that is said before the magistrate, so the magistrate weighs everything, and then the magistrate would decide, okay, she's going to remand you, you're not getting bail. Based on all what the police say, most likely, if the police put out all of that information, that person is not getting bail. So that person is on remand until 10th of July. So today is the 25th of May. So 10th of July is a good, you have June, a good 6-7 weeks away. So you'd be spending that time down the road. All right, so that's bail. Now the issue with the, as I mentioned before, with that young lady, she had a protection order against her spouse. Now a protection order is an order made by the court when an application is made by somebody before the court, indicating to the court that somebody else is threatening her, him or her, and they're afraid for their life, and so on. They have had a history of domestic problems or fights with that person, and that person have threatened them to kill them or to harm them, actual bodily harm to them, commit actual bodily harm to them, and they are fearful for their life, so they want that person a protection order against that person. So that is normally taken on oath before a magistrate. Now, most times, ladies are the ones who go to the court for protection orders against men. I don't know of any situation where a man have gone to get a protection order against a lady. There may be, but I am not aware. All right, so the magistrate would hear the circumstances and they would issue a protection order. That protection order would be served on the person, the respondent or the defendant. Okay? A copy would be given to the police at the police station, or the police officer who's serving it. Normally, that would be served by a police officer on the person, and probably one would be given to the claimant, the person making the claim, the lady. And so everybody is aware And the conditions would be such that the person should not go within 100 yards of that person at any time. All right, so if you all live together, which would be a very complicated situation, you know, and those are the things that we want to discuss during that show, because we cannot afford to allow situations like that to happen again. It has happened many, many times before. It keeps happening. And we have reached a point where we cannot allow those things to happen again. So we will not be able to prevent it if we don't know the circumstances. This is why shows like that are very important. So that, and I wish the police would have more shows on the air. I know in Barbados the police are very particular about those kind of shows. They have traffic shows, they have shows talking about just what I'm talking about there, to inform the members of the public on their rights and what they can do to protect themselves. Because the whole point of having a justice system is for justice to be served on everybody, for protection of life, for everybody's life. All right, but if you don't know, or people don't come, the persons who are in place to protect you, if they are not telling you or they're not informing you, you will not be aware of your rights. All right, so anybody who breaches a protection order, the protection order normally comes with its own clause and a warrant attached to it, indicating that if you violate the conditions set out in the protection order, you will be arrested and you will spend some months incarcerated until the determination of the case. Now, what was particularly interesting about the situation that we're discussing is that it was said that when the police, the first violation of the protection order, the spouse was arrested for assaulting and another offense against the deceased. And brought before the court with 2 new criminal charges, plus the violation of the protection order. And bail was denied in that instance. Now, in my reading, I realized that there could have been a situation where that person was not represented at that court. And because a defense lawyer would argue that everybody is entitled to bail, and the law itself states that everybody is entitled for bail. But there may be a situation, it could have been a situation where that person was unrepresented at the time by a lawyer. So bail was denied in the first instance. But subsequently, application was made for bail before the High Court. And bail was granted. And that's where people seem to be having an issue. Because people are asking, in a volatile situation like that, how can the court rightly realize that there is a need to remand that person, and at the other court would come back and grant bail to that person after all the facts are known? And that's where the confusion is. So now people are asking, what is the real significance of the justice system? If that can happen, not to say the person is unknown, the person is at large, the person has not been apprehended at all, and the person is on the run, but the person is within the system, and the system is allowing, by whatever statutes, right, by whatever procedures, the system has basically allowed the matter to reach that critical point that is that. And that's where the confusion seems to be. So, in my time and in my service, I have had a lot of, there have been many instances where I have been at the court. And to somebody who have never gone to court, and I'm happy that Angie is at the studio now, so she's within hearing of what I'm saying. If you have never gone to court, you may not be aware of all the procedures. You hear names calling, you've seen people going, you've seen police walking in people handcuffed, walking with them out. The same man who walked in handcuffed, walking back out without handcuff, without the police, or the police leaving and leaving without the person that they brought in. And for you, it's your first experience. You're wondering what's going on in there because you have never been there before. Now there is something called orientation in the court, where when the court have recognized that. So when you go to the court for the first time, you'll be taken into a room and then you would be told, okay, that's what that will happen next. You're called. When you're called, you are going to stand there, you're going to plead. Or if it's you are the complainant, you are going to be, if you are giving evidence, they're going to guide you as to what you can say and what you cannot say. So they have a little orientation process going on. Just because the court have recognized that not everybody is aware of the court procedure.
For not wearing a seatbelt.
All right, so you are going to be given that little orientation. So in my time at the court, I see a lot of people standing outside the court. And by 8:30, 8:45, court starts at 9. So by 8:30, 8:45, 10 to 9, the courtyard, and those of you who can remember the old courthouse down on Library Street, the Library and Pena, between those two streets, the section has broken down now. You see how that courthouse, that yard used to be packed up with people. And traffic court used to be, at one time, upstairs, the very end, nearest the cathedral. The upstairs that court. And downstairs used to be B1 court. B1 was where all the new matters, fresh matters, criminal matters, summary matters, and bail matters are being heard. Bail for summary matters are being heard downstairs there in the magistrate court. And upstairs next to or adjacent to the traffic court, which is at the end, used to be A court. So traffic court is, what was traffic court? B2 court. Traffic court was B2 court. Downstairs traffic court was B1 court. And upstairs adjacent to B2 court was A court. That court was manned by, managed by, at the time, by retired magistrate Nicholas. Okay, she was a senior magistrate at that time. And when you go before Magistrate Nicholas ain't nice. All right, so that was the A court. That was for more serious criminal matters. But let me just give my experience at B court and how I used to try to make my observations and try to help people as much as I can, recognizing that a lot of people are not aware of the procedures of court. So let us say I am a investigating officer. I bring Angie to court. I take Angie to court. Or I have a matter against Angie. Angie is a defendant in the court. I am present. Angie is present. She's on bail, but she's outside. She has attended court. And the complainant in the case, let's say I have another witness who's the virtual complainant or the complainant who made the report against Angie. That's why we're in court. Let's say that's a third person. What would normally happen is that when they call the case, they would call Angie's name as the defendant. So once I hear Angie's name call, I know that's my matter. So they call Angie, Angie walks into the court. I know that's my matter, I would walk into the court. Or if I am already in the court, I know that's my matter. So, but the witness or the complainant is outside. I know the complainant is there because I would probably make contact with that person because I would have served that person a summons and ensure that that person comes. So I know that person is outside. Let's say person C is outside. So the clerk calls Angie's name and then I walk in, so I am there, Angie is there. They would read the case to Angie, the charge, and Angie may or may not be represented by a lawyer. Angie may be asked to plead whether she's guilty or not guilty. And let us say she says she's not guilty. They would need to call the witness. Now sometimes that is not done. That's why a lot of people don't know what happened because they just seen people leaving the court, coming into the court, and they're not aware. So normally, if it's a traffic case, I would tell the clerk, the complainant is there, call John Brown. So then if they would call John Brown, so John Brown goes inside because John Brown knows that Angie is in court with Angie and me. He saw both of us enter the court, but he's outside. So when they call John Brown is in the presence of myself as the investigator, Angie as the defendant, and before the magistrate. So if there is any subsequent adjournment of that case, John Brown is within the court. He would know or he would have heard why the case is adjourned and when it is adjourned for. But not all the time this is happening. So what you have people attending court and still people don't know what actually happened in the court. So much so that the clerk would call all the cases that they are going to adjourn, all the cases that are not going to be heard today. From a list of 50, the clerk is going to call 45 cases, and they're going to adjourn all 45 for a subsequent date. And then the 5 that they may recall, that they will try to hear for the day, they will stand it down to be calling one after the other. All right, so if you don't know the process, you will not know that. That is why the court is there to educate people, you know, when those matters are going on. And if persons watch Judge Judy on online, you would hear the judge, and Judge Judy is an actual judge. You would hear Judge Judy giving explanations and so on. So the people in the court would understand, or the parties involved in the case would understand what is actually happening in the court. All right, so I say all of that just to orient you properly, so that when you hear a discussion on court, if you have never been in the court before, you would have an idea what I'm actually saying. Now, some of the criminals and persons who have been arrested a lot, you'd not be surprised to know that a lot of them know court better than even some police officers, because those guys have gone through the system and they know. All right? They know what the police can do and what the police cannot do. And if you're not good, those guys will win you in court because they can tell the magistrate certain things. So that's why you must know what you're doing. All right? So, but going back to the subject, it is very important that we understand what we are discussing, to know your rights, people. Even when you have a complaint and you go to the station.
Sorry to interrupt you, Foster, but somebody's asking a question.
Yes.
The person says, I would like to know if car seats are mandatory in St. Lucia, and also till what age, because the way people have their children lives at risk in these vehicles makes me wonder.
Yeah, according to the Traffic Act, I don't know if there is an amendment to it. The last I know, any child under the age of 8 years, any child under the age of 8 years cannot sit in the front seat of a vehicle first, and child seats are not mandatory.
They're not?
No. But the child cannot. The only thing that pertains to children sitting in a vehicle, as to the payment on a bus, they mentioned a child in arms or a child sitting on the mother don't have to pay because they're sitting on the mother. But the child.
But you're saying that child's car seats are not mandatory, so it's up to the discretion of the
you
parent.
must have the child in the back seat.
In the back seat.
Yeah, and possibly, seat belt. If your car is fitted with seat belts in the back, you must have. Yes.
Okay.
But when the seat belt law was enacted, if you didn't have seat belt in your car, it was your duty to put seat belt. Now, Angie, you know we have cars that are 100 years old on our roads.
Do we?
I mean, no, I'm not saying 100 years, but we have vehicles on our road that are not fitted with seat belt. Very old vehicles. Although somebody tell me don't say old vehicle because no factory never made an old vehicle. All vehicles are made new. Would you agree, Angie?
Well, of course, all vehicles are made new, but
No factory never made an old vehicle.
those old vehicles from 1970 not.
They have
maybe,
seat belts at the time.
but if you watch some of these old movies, old black movies, they tell you the parents used to take the seatbelts to beat the children. So if you watch those Medea movies, I just watched a Medea movie where she said the seatbelt that the grandson was asking where are the seatbelts, and the grandfather said he took out the seatbelt. Ask your father where they are. So when he asked the father, the father say they took out the seatbelt and they give him a beating with it. So
But I mean, nowadays you see most vehicles are fitted with seat belts. I don't know. The vehicles who didn't have seat belts before, Angie, most of them are off the road already. But most vehicles have seat belts to the front. But not many of the old vehicles had seat belts to the rear.
well, we missed a call. A caller, if you're listening, go ahead and call back. Feel free.
All right, Angie. So we have a lot of questions on the system, Angie. People have been questioning the system, and I always, when we have those discussions, I always call my brother, who worked criminal investigations for a long time, and we discuss certain matters, and he, being the expert that he is, he would give me guidance on criminal matters. We have a call. Okay.
Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Angie and Mr. Chico. Happy holiday to you guys and to you too.
Thank you.
Same to you.
Nice program on a holiday on Monday. I'm listening to this and I'm like, wow, this is great. Mr. Chico, I was under the impression, I may be dead wrong, because living in Europe, I'm coming back home. When I got here, in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, I always had a car seat for my daughter. When she outgrew the car seat, I thought she had to be, because she was tall, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was told that according to her height, you can sit her on, there's an extra little seat that
You mean the
put
booster seat?
on the,
That's the booster seat.
what's it called?
Booster.
The
seat.
booster seat, that's right. Thanks, Angie. I was looking for the name ever since all of these things I've given away. She's 16 now. I put her in a booster seat because of her height. She's very tall for her age and stuff, and strapped down and stuff. And I wasn't stopped by the police or anything. However, that's what I was told to do. And I can't remember, to be very honest, I cannot remember who may have given me that information, but it's one of the safety measures that is practiced in Europe, in the UK. So maybe I did it knowing knowing that's what is practiced.
Yeah.
But yes, at a certain age, she did sit in the front seat. I will say, don't come arresting me now, because of her height. And I had the booster for her. I also had it in the back too, because she had outgrown that car seat, that baby car seat. So I'm wondering if something had changed on the books and people maybe not implemented as always, or people are not aware of it. I don't know. So it's something worth checking. I mean, you may have done the most recent homework, Mr. Chico.
Yeah.
So I'm not doubting you, and I may have done it maybe out of habit, habit from overseas,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
St. Lucia.
Yeah.
But then, not only me, there were few of us that actually did it.
Yes.
So it was not me alone having booster seats for our child, but there were a few others, like my aunt. There were the parents, the school she went to, there were the parents who also had it. So I'm thinking to myself that something, I don't know, is either we missed something or we did something that we were probably, I don't know. So I'm wondering if something was done with the law that you may have missed. I don't know, Mr. Chico.
I
But
know
the
that.
safety is,
Yeah.
sorry?
The like I said, there were vehicles. I work at traffic a long time, and when the seatbelt law was enacted, there was a lot of challenges to it because we got so many vehicles that were not fitted with seatbelts, especially the trucks and the pickup vans. A lot of those vehicles, older vehicles, did not come with front seatbelt. Probably that driver's
So are
seatbelt,
you
but
saying,
not
Mr.
passenger
Chico,
or
sorry,
back.
are you saying it was enacted or not? Do you know if it was enacted and it was just never gone through full force, or
What you mean, seats, car seats, children's safety seats?
the booster seats, etc.? Yes.
It's not mandatory in our law. I cannot remember seeing that it's an obligation for your child to be in your vehicle in a car seat. The only, like I said, the only restriction on a child in a vehicle is that the child cannot be seated at the front of a vehicle if they're under the age of 8 years. Otherwise, they have to be on the parent or in arms, a baby in arms, or a child in arms sitting on the parent, or in the back seat. It doesn't specify car seat.
In the UK,
I have a question. Hold on, caller, just hold on. I remember when I was pregnant, I was taking a bus. I went to sit in the front because that's why I felt comfortable. And the bus driver said that I'm not legally allowed to sit in the front seat.
No, not pregnant ladies either.
Ah, okay.
For the same reason.
I thought he was just messing with me.
No,
Okay.
yes.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, so I was saying, although I'm in St. Lucia, but in the UK and France, Spain, you find that the car seat is mandatory for babies when they get to a certain height, not necessarily age, but a certain height, then they sit in the booster seat.
Okay.
The booster seat can either be placed in the back or in the front, but most parents would still place it in the back.
Okay.
And the booster seat, when placed in the front, it gives them more height, of course. On the back, it gives them more height. So at a certain age, at a certain height, you can put them in the booster seat, even if they're less than 8 years old.
Okay.
So if they're 5, 6 years and they're tall, you can actually put them in the booster seat and strap them down with the car seat. I found myself practicing the same thing here, but I thought I did it because someone had, but I can't remember now, someone had actually said to me that I needed to put her in the booster seat, which I did have, so it was not a problem.
I will double check, but to the best of my knowledge and recollection, there is no car seats not mandatory in St. Lucia. So if you're traveling, if a mother is traveling with a child,
thinking it's, I guess, for the safety of our child too.
Yes.
But a lot of mothers buy car seats thinking that it's mandatory. And to be quite honest, Mr. Chico, I have a good friend who lost his, how old was this child? 5? I think he was about 4 or 5. Who lost his son in a car accident on the way to the airport.
Wow.
And the child was in the back. I believe was sitting with the grandmother. And the child's body went flying. He went flying through the windshield. His grandmother, I think she sustained a lot of injury. The sister had minimal. The father didn't have. Funny enough, he didn't get much. And poor guy blamed himself for that, for life. And he lost his son, unfortunately.
Wow.
But I believe the child was sitting on the grandmother, although the child had a car seat. But I believe the child was sitting on the grandmother at the time when it happened.
Wow.
Sleeping, or she was trying to put him to bed, or feeding him or something, and his body went through the windscreen. That's a sad situation.
Yeah.
Now, thinking about it, if the child was in the car seat, highly likely it would not have happened because he would be strapped down and he would be behind a seat as well.
Behind a seat, yeah.
So he'd have been protected. You understand?
Yes.
But being loose on the grandmother and just being held down by herself, when with the accident happening, his body just went flying through the windshield. So, I mean, if people can do it and get the car seat and maybe even the booster seat may keep them firmer in the seat, I don't know, because the booster seat is shaped a certain way too.
Yeah.
It has a certain height. Maybe they should. I think, especially now, I think we should practice all precautions when it comes to our children. Because we may not be the mad drivers, but we have some pretty crazy people driving on the street who possibly never did defensive driving and all of that. I mean, with me, I can tell you I did defensive driving. And defensive driving would tell you avoid an accident at all costs.
At all costs, yeah.
So in other words, don't, if you see somebody driving like a bus driver moving out of the bus stop and you driving at a speed, slow down. If you have to stop and let that bus driver go, but don't go speeding, because what the next thing you're going to hear is crash and bang and boom and the rest of it.
Yes.
So, you know, we have to practice defensive driving. But if we see somebody doing something, pull away, slow down. You know, don't try to fit yourself and speed up, because you're probably going to be the one who will cause that accident. Yes, you want to blame the other person, but really, if you had stopped, that accident would have never, or slowed down, that accident would have never happened. So, I mean, there are lots of things. Even, Mr. Chico, when you have some time, maybe you should tell him how to use the roundabout.
Oh, Lord.
Because we see people using the roundabout. Let me tell you, it's crazy.
That's a whole day.
It's not the roundabout I'm worried about. You know what the big issue is? Those merging lanes.
Yes.
That's the problem. That is the problem.
In the merging lanes, you simply have to indicate, you know, so the driver can see that if you towards the front of him or her, can see that you're indicating to go into that one lane. And, you know, you just have to keep doing that. And it's a give and take thing, but use the indicators. And a lot of St. Lucians don't use their indicators.
St. Lucians, a lot of St. Lucians are lazy. You see what I call those people, caller? They have lazy hands, lazy fingers. Because the levers are right there at your hand.
Yes.
Your indicator left or right. And people just not using indicators.
And they actually speeding to try and see if they can get into the single lane from the double lane. And I'm like, what are you doing? We're just going to be one behind the other.
Yes.
Why would you cause an accident to get in front of me when we literally going to be one behind the other?
Yeah,
let us have some consideration.
And some people talk about because they believe they have right of way. The road has no particular right of way. The road, everybody is just sharing the road. So if you see somebody doing some craziness, all you do is just touch your brakes, let the person slow down a little bit, let the person do their madness, and once they're ahead of you, they can't bounce you again. You can let them go on their way.
I just normally position myself in the middle of the lane. That's all I do. I just know, you see the merging lanes? I just normally position myself in the middle.
So nobody can come.
Nobody don't come. And I go to the because it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, when you do that, the accidents will happen.
Angie a bad girl driver. Angie's you hear the kind of driving Angie doing?
Oh, Mr. Chico, I don't want to say what I do, but I follow the laws.
You too, follow.
No, I have my times, my moments.
Okay, you have your moments, okay.
Yeah, I have my moments when I get a little bit, like frustrated with them.
I am done expecting people to use common sense on the road. I get to a merging, especially the one in Marisil, I go in the middle. I just go in the middle. I just position myself in the middle. And you can't pass me, you just have to stay behind me. When I go, then you do your business. Y'all want to do your Kalmaja, that's y'all, but I getting out of there. So I just slowly inch my way to the middle.
You know, like accidents I see at the top of the Wyndham anymore. It's no branding now, but at the top of that hotel, I'm in shock. You know the number of accidents I see where there's two lanes. I'm like, why? That should not even happen. We just need to give way. Somebody has to give way. Indicate, give way. Check the person. Look and see. They don't. They're just rushing. I'm like, wow. I think a lot of people do not do the defensive driving course. And I'm calling, you know what I'm calling for, Mr. Chico?
Yeah.
I'm calling because people get their license for a year, I think, in St. Lucia. And then they proceed to doing the defensive drivers during the course of that year.
Yeah.
And thereafter, I think they issued maybe a 2 or 3 year license if they're a year. 2 or 3 year license if they choose to have that, right?
Yes.
But prior to that, they would, because you have to present that certificate. However, Mr. Chico, I think prior to having their license, they should do the defensive driving as part of attaining the license. Do you understand? So that way they've already covered the defensive driving and you're not waiting for them to go and do it to issue them license again, another set of license. Because maybe there's a loophole somewhere these people just coming again and getting a year's license, and nobody checks that they have not done the defensive driving course. So I think it should be part of the requirements for getting someone's driver's license in the first place.
I don't know how they I think it's highly unlikely that they get a second 1-year license without doing the defensive, Knowing our system is
how do they keep track of it? Because we have some people driving mad on this road like they don't know what defensive driving is.
A lot of people drive mad, The great majority of 50% of the people driving are driving mad.
No, 90%, Mr. Chico. What's wrong with you? Not on the road, man. 90%, not 50 or 90%.
I was trying to be generous, Angie looking at me. I try to be generous.
Angie, you're right to look at him when I wish
all the mad people driving on the road, all of them, including me, all of them mad driving on the road. Because when you see the nonsense that happens on the road, I get mad. Even if I'm not mad when I get in the vehicle, while I'm driving, when I see the nonsense, it drives me completely insane. My brother always says he don't understand why women have road rage because the amount of times I yell at people, I mean internally, I'm not going to put my head outside and yell
Are
at
the
the person.
drivers normally female? Those you yell
I mean,
at?
No,
I
the
don't
males,
have road
mostly
rage.
the
I have
males.
a friend.
Mostly the
I have
males.
a friend who has road rage. I mean, I have a girlfriend who has road rage, and every time she's on the road, she's cussing. Every time I'm speaking to her, she's cussing. What's wrong with you? Oh, this is bus driver. And I say to her, you know what, girl, just let the bus driver go and just keep your calm and go on your merry way and be happy, but don't let
Am I
these
that
people
friend?
the way. Angie must be friend number 2, because I have one already, and now I'm learning that you're doing it. So I'm gonna have to teach you how to.
I don't even have to be the driver for me to get the road rage. As long as I'm in the vehicle and I see the nonsense, I start to quarrel.
No, you've got to condition your mind.
I used to do that corner. I used to complain about that. But you see now, when I see that madness, I just let the person pass. Pull over on the left side and let them go. I hope that around the corner I don't meet them upside down now.
Yeah, that. I always say that when they go, I say, please don't let me see you wrapped around the pole somewhere down the road. Please, please. You know, I let them go. I have to do their business, but
give them room, let
at the
them
end
pass.
of the day. I mean, but Mr. Chico, having said all of this, in 2026, Mr. Chico, don't you think we should have had some, how you call them, the roads that go crossovers or whatever you call them?
Flyovers, crossovers, yes. Oh.
Yeah, those roads that are in the air. And in 2026, I thought, you know, in 2019, 2018, I saw St. Lucia having those crossovers and, you know, even an East Coast road. And I actually envisaged that,
Yes.
I'm saying, boy, if you don't want to go into Castries, you can literally bypass all of the traffic in town and drive over, and then end up at Millennium or yes, or wherever you need to go. However, you would not have to, you would not, go into the
let me just be devil advocate. We cannot even patch a pothole. You think it's a road in the air will make?
But you see, Mr. Chico, we were able to patch a pothole some time ago. We were able to do new roads. We were able to rehabilitate so many roads that we were being told people don't hit roads.
Yes.
And from that, I saw that the road network installation would be so beautiful that, we need the road network because it actually helps with the ease of doing business in St. Lucia. It helps you to save time moving from one place to the other, so you have more time to do constructive things. And I saw this coming on stream. I envisaged it, only to be disappointed after 2021 when I saw the Rodney Bay roadworks going to the dumps and people saying about bubble, and up to this current day we can't prove bubble, and now saying 30 million or 100 million to finish road, and how much 22. Did I have 22 or 33 million to fix the shock bridge?
The shock bridge, 40 million.
I mean,
can you believe one bridge?
Million?
Can you believe that?
That shock bridge seems to be the most expensive bridge in St. Lucia. Remember initially the last time they fixed that shock bridge, they spent a whole bunch of millions too.
No, remember they did 11 million for the Bois-de-Wash bridge.
It was the Bois-de-Wash bridge. Oh, sorry.
And that bridge, in my estimation, is not worth more than $3 million.
Was the Bonte bridge, which is pretty larger than the Bois-de-Wash bridge, was 4 million. They said that the Bois-de-Wash bridge was $11 million. Now they are tripling it to 30 million for the short bridge. I am wondering what is in those bridges.
It would be interesting to find out how much.
Golden aggregate.
Hold on. It would be interesting to find out how much the cul-de-sac bridge cost. Because the cul-de-sac bridge
is 3 times the length of Bois-de-Wash bridge.
And the shock bridge as well.
Yes.
Now we have to remember. At first, the cul-de-sac bridge was being supervised by the Taiwanese. I think the Taiwanese or Japanese. The Taiwanese, I think.
Japanese, yes.
Japanese. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chico. I have the information, but Taiwanese, Japanese, Chinese, Mambalala. So, by the Japanese were actually overseeing the work in the beginning of the cul-de-sac bridge. But then the ending of the cul-de-sac bridge, we need to know what happened because it took a long time for it to finish.
Oh, yes.
And also, we were hearing of cost overruns. I mean, Millennium High Road took forever, and I don't think it's finished.
It's still not complete.
It's not finished yet, Mr. Chico?
Yes, true.
Mr. Chico, could you believe John Compton's Millennium High Road that they call tunnel vision and whatever, they have taken that long to rehabilitate that road?
I just realized something. Do you know it's almost a year since they said to us that they were going to hand over that thing? The Millennium.
Yes.
It's almost a year.
Yeah.
June 20th, right? That's what they said? 2025?
Yeah. But I predicted that road would take, you see all the deadlines they were given? I used to call Sky FM and tell you that road will take 4 or 5 years, you know. And it's
that is true. I heard you calling Sky FM saying that. I heard that because I listened. Yes. And that road didn't have to take 4 or 5 years. That road only has taken 4 or 5 years for cost overruns and whoever is benefiting. And I'm sorry that I'm sounding that way, but somebody's benefiting from. Some people are benefiting from this because. Why would it take so long? One, just like St. Jude's, the Army Field Hospital they have down in so-called hospital, which is really a polyclinic, because it doesn't meet international standards for a hospital. So we just, and we see that. I can call a number of projects where it has been cut over, including the Broadwash Bridge. Cost overruns. But these same people calling other people volley and they flashing papers on TV every Thursday night and saying they have proof. Share the proof with us and give us why there are cost overruns on all the projects that you are taking over. You have left for how many years to deteriorate, and then you come and you tell us it's 3 and 4 and 5 times the amount that it was going to cost originally. Why are y'all doing that to taxpayers? Our governance in St. Lucia has become political, and it's like more political. I say vengeance, revenge.
Yes.
We're not doing that because UWP started it. I mean, really? If you're not doing it because it's not good work, and it's not going to work and it's not going to meet international standards and the standards are too low or whatever, we will understand that you're not doing it for that reason. But if you're not doing it and the standards are of the highest standards, etc., to bring us to a place of development like a first world country, and you refuse to do it, it is telling us that you want to keep us backwards in the dark. You want to bring us 15, 20 years back in development. You do not want to develop this country. You do not want to bring the country forward. You do not want to put road networks, especially hospitals, water. The infrastructure of a country would say where that country is going economically, you know?
Oh, yes.
It's airport. So when we see that we had a contraction in our economy, the only country in the Eastern Caribbean, may I say it again? The only country in the Eastern Caribbean who had a contraction in its economy, whose economy went into minus, into zero, into red, was St. Lucia. How is that possible when we had such a growing economy? Why am I now hearing that, tourism numbers are really not what they were giving, but now the real numbers are coming out and our tourism industry has contracted? Why are we hearing that when we were doing so well in 2019?
Exactly.
In 2018, 2020, even when we heard that tourism would not come back, in 2021, we had a rush of people come to St. Lucia after COVID, even during COVID.
Yeah.
So it's obvious that the plan of the last administration was out in 2022, and this new administration has no plan for tourism. And so tourism has been on the decline, just like the flights have been on the decline. And big decline, from 22 flights on a weekend, a Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, to 6 flights. That's a fraction,
Yeah.
A fraction. But why am I now hearing that the same cruise ports that Alan Shafi's administration had a contract, had signed a contract for Viewport that SLP disbanded, because I say disbanded a lot when it comes to them. They disbanded the new hospital too. Why now I'm hearing that they are going back to doing the same cruise ports? So St. Lucians cannot see that it's just a waste of time, money, effort, energy. And then when they come with it, it is 6 times the amount that the UWP administration was going to build it for.
Yeah. Somebody told
We
me.
need to check ourselves.
Somebody told me that we were in a discussion, and somebody told me that time is all that they have. They don't have money. And I told the person, we think we have time. We don't have time. Me and you don't know how much time we have left. So how can you say we have time? Time is money. If we don't do something now, it's going to cost us 5 times the amount, 5 years' time.
From 2021 to 2026, you know how much could have been done in terms of the infrastructural development for St. Lucia? Mr. Chico, a whole lot. Especially that the projects had already started. And all we needed was continuation. A new administration came in. We just needed them to continue, because the people who would benefit from that would be St. Lucians, not United Workers' Party alone. St. Lucians, I think United Workers' Party as in the people in the United Workers' Party, but St. Lucians would benefit from this. And we hold our countrymen and women and civilians and working people back because we're playing politics with the minds of the people. And we sit there, Mr. Chico, not you, not Angie, not me. I even say we, meaning you, me, and Angie too. We sit there and we don't take our nice little boots and put them on our feet and go to Castries and ask for accountability and ask for answers and ask for plans and ask for, we just sit there quietly, silently, most of us, and say, oh, it's bad everywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not bad everywhere else in the world. The rest of the Eastern Caribbean islands are surpassing us and we're going back. Our economy is shrinking. It's in the minus. So what are they talking about? So people, when you're making up these excuses, be very wary that, aware that there's somewhere you can go and check.
Very good contribution, caller. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, caller.
I'm listening to the program. Thank you, Mr. Chico. Thank you.
So So Angie, I want to the authorities. We want to ask the persons who are in charge of the support services for the ladies, for the men who are abused, the people in the court, the people who are responsible for the protection, the police, the patrols of the community. We are hoping that the patrols will continue at Masha, Angie, and Babono, and Marigot, and Vieux-Fort, because we cannot allow the criminals to believe that the police is inactive or inefficient and they have enough time to do what they want to do. So we want to hold the people who are responsible for those, for our security and safety, responsible, and we want them to account. Because right now, today I sat home and I was thinking, Angie, when somebody can say the police giving them files, and the more they get files, they bazudi with files, the police keep giving them files, and not their files, The police not giving them files that they of their own, The police giving them other people's files. The commissioner at the time promised an investigation into that file given. To date, we have heard nothing about that. That same person said the bank told them, come and move the money in the bank. Angie, if a bank tell me, come and take off my money, because those large deposits I'm making, the bank is not feeling comfortable with that. Now, how can the bank not know that you put in money on your account? How did that money end up on your account, Angie?
Through the ATM.
Through the ATM?
Was it through the ATM all the time? I don't know.
So, okay, Angie, we have to believe that when that person said that there was a substantial amount of money, that account that was made reference to. We know if we go to the bank with more than $10,000, we have to show a source of funds.
If you go to the teller, but if you put it through the ATM, you don't need to show nothing.
I agree. I understand, Angie. So you go to the ATM 10 times to deposit. How much money can you deposit in the ATM at one time?
There's no limit.
There's no limit?
No. There's a limit to how much you take out. There's no limit to how much you deposit. You just, if it's bankers and Nusha, don't go with $100 because it'll frustrate you. But go with 20s. and I'm serious. Try it.
Yeah, but okay, so that means that person either made several trips there or have several people making deposits on that account. Is one or the other?
Let me tell you something. When you deposit for the ATM, it doesn't get to your account till the next day. Because they have to come in. You just go nighttime and you deposit for the ATM.
Yeah.
So tomorrow afternoon,
somebody
go and check the thing, and then they realize the money. So maybe at that point the bank will tell you, listen, come and take your money back.
Come and take your money back.
Maybe it had residue on it. Maybe it had a certain smell. I don't know. I just...
Angie, you naughty. You naughty, Angie. So, we need the people at Human Services, Angie, or the courts, to come to a program like I am doing there now. Because the police do it in the press conferences. The police tell you how successful they are, or how many murders they have charged persons for. They said 20, out of 40.
Out of 999,000.
Angie,
Okay.
ACP
I'll
Defrators.
behave myself. I'll behave
listening
myself.
to you. ACP Defrators listening to you. Eh?
He is.
Good day, ACP Defrators.
Good afternoon to you. Good evening to you, sir. I am your biggest fan. So when you see me driving in the middle of the Mudge Lane, please don't arrest me.
So, human services need to come to a program like ours to tell the people why is the shelter, women's shelter, is it closed, is it open, is it functioning? We don't need to know the location because I know you all keep that under wraps. But the public servants, that's why I always, and government is structured in such a way, Angie. We've all them red carpet, red tape.
Red tape, red curtain, red shawl, red everything.
To prevent, basically, they tie down the public servants. So the public servant, they tell you foolishness like the public servant cannot tell the media.
Yeah.
So who do they serve? Who do the public servants serve?
Well, it is supposed to be that the public servants serve the public, but in St. Lucia today, the public servants seem to be either one serving themselves, or two, they don't know who they're serving, so they just lost. I think it's the latter. I think all of them are lost.
So we have to ask the persons who are in charge of departments to come and give a response, Angie. Those deaths cannot just pass, just so you know, Angie. The last two ladies, the other one was kind of a different circumstance. But the Bernard lady and
not just them, it's three, Foster, it's three, because around the time Alana Bernard died, there was a girl who died right after named Judy. I can't remember her last name, but her name was Judy, and she died within a week.
No, I am making reference to the ladies who died while they have matters pending in the court.
She had a matter pending in the court as well. She had just gotten a protection order, and she had gone to a guest house and had her friend come with her, and she were hiding from the guy, but somebody saw them and told.
Yes, I think I remember.
Yeah, told the guy where they were.
But prior to that, there have been a number of women.
The guy injured her friend and killed her.
Yes.
But he went to kill both of them.
You remember some years ago, Angie? Remember some years ago, a lady was attacked. And the body was thrown along Millennium Highway, and she survived. Can you remember that case? You can remember that case?
No,
a fire officer was charged for murder and attempted murder in that case.
Okay. Yes.
Remember that case?
I remember that case because the fire officer is actually a classmate of mine.
Yes,
so.
he was convicted. That case I've gone through the High Court.
Yeah.
Angie, there are so many matters.
It was a very embarrassing time for me when they gave me the name. That hurt me deep down in my soul because this is someone I sat in a classroom with. Someone I know.
Who are you talking about?
The guy who...
The victim or
the perpetrator.
Angie, that was a sick case.
This hurt to my core.
I know.
Really hurt.
At that time, that case drew a lot of discussion, just like this last one. Because the guy was killed and the lady was beaten badly.
And she was pregnant.
Yes.
She was pregnant at the time, and I'm not sure if she had a miscarriage. I'm not sure.
And she was dumped along Millennium Highway, but she
Actually,
survived.
no, she ran. She escaped.
She escaped.
She escaped.
Okay,
Yeah.
but she survived the ordeal.
Yeah, she did, but she escaped. But just knowing that this was done by someone that I know, someone who I saw as my brother, that hurts. When they tell you it's not just the victim and their family that hurts when these things happen, the perpetrators' friends and family hurt as well.
And you know, I think a lot of members of the public grieve about those things, you know.
Yeah.
You know, there are people that thing, they are not connected to any other parties.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it creates a sort of anxiety in the community, Angie. I can tell you. When crimes like that happen in a community, a closely knit community, you see Marshall area, I can tell you some of the people who are not speaking, because they say in certain areas, Angie, you cannot say what's on your mind.
Yeah. But honestly, you never expect these things to happen by someone you know. You always expect. You hear it happens, and you say, "My God, who's that monster who did this?" And then you find out.
When you find out it's your neighbor,
your friend,
somebody you grew up with,
somebody you sat in a classroom with, somebody who picked you up when you fell. And you ask yourself, what? And a lot of the times the question you ask yourself is, what could I have done to prevent this from happening?
Or if you could not have sensed something was wrong
and tried to stop it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's... Oh.
And a lot of people you see that last case, Angie? Mm-hmm. I tell you, when I heard that from the night, I saw the picture. I tell you, I was lying in bed and I sat up in the bed because that child I keep saying child because I have a daughter, and that girl looks so much like my daughter.
That's exactly what I saw. And people don't understand, but so many people, this last case touched deep.
Oh yeah.
It touched deep because you could see that this girl did everything. She went everywhere. She didn't hide it. She told everybody. She went to the court. And to know that it was a glitch in the system, a technicality that cost her life. You know,
well, technicality
I think St. Lucians are still reeling. Yeah, we do. St. Lucians are reeling from this, and this is not something that the public will take lightly.
We have to demand change immediately from that, Angie.
Yeah.
We don't want that to go cold in the next week.
No.
We need before the end. How many days may remain? 6 more days.
Today is the 25th.
We need to hear something definitive.
Yeah.
From the support services that those things are the court. Somebody from the court has to come and explain what happened there,
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that's where I have a problem with the public servants, because they will tell you, man, the court cannot come on the air and say, or the magistrate cannot. Somebody is in charge of the court. Somebody is in charge. I don't expect the judge to come and say, well, I gave bail and I'm sorry I gave bail and don't hold me responsible. I don't expect the judge to come and say that, but somebody has to come and see how those things are happening. I can read it on paper there. I didn't even read what
Good afternoon, caller. You are on the air.
Well, I'm not sorry. I'm calling back. I just wanted to because I'm very interested with the court and the court services and the protection for women, etc., like safe houses. We need to ask our government, what have they done in terms of safe houses for these women who tend to be going back home or going back to the open after they have reported certain incidents with their partners or their husbands or with people or with someone who's abusing them, the abuser.
True.
Where are the safe houses and why, where in the budget? Because remember the act, Angie, that we spoke of just a few days ago that was touted big.
The Domestic Violence Act. Domestic Violence Act.
But with the act comes a number of things, and one of the most important being safe houses for these ladies. Now, if we look at our budget for the last, from 2021 to 2026, have we seen anything allocated, any monies in that budget allocated to safe houses for women? How they're going to be looked after, the abused women, because they so touted the act. But have they put anything in there? And I have yet to look at it. So I'm asking the question because I did not look. I didn't look. Sometimes, when I want to know something, I really go and look because I don't like spreading rumors. But what have they done within the budgets from 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26? We just had a budget in April last month. What has this government done to allocate funding for safe houses for those abused and the women whose lives are at risk? What have they done? We need to pay some attention to that as well. We have to put some pressure on them because the monies does come from the government service to the particular ministry that takes care of this. Right or wrong?
Yes. It should be.
So what have they done? Social programs, step. We Papa step. 1 day, 1 month, 1 week in December, 1 week in July before September or August, 1 week in Easter, 1 week for Christmas. Step. These social programs. These are social programs we should be focused on. And where is the money for these social programs? I go back to where is the billions of dollars that are missing for the monies for passport sales. I go back to that because this monies should be allocated. Part of this money should be allocated to those social programs. Part of this money should be allocated to health. Part of this money should be allocated to road networks. Part of this money but I'm seeing lifestyle changes in a lot of people in sitting in certain chairs in Parliament. And we do not know where the money is coming from. However, our money that belongs to the state, we have no idea where that money is going to, yet we need that money to invest in certain things for the same social programs that the SLP government seem to be touting. Thank you, people. Thank you again.
Angie, I'll make a statement. I don't mind the Shock Bridge does not get rehabilitated. I don't mind the arcade does not get rehabilitated. Get the women's shelter open, get staff, get rangers if you need more police officers, get those things working. The only thing, in answer to the caller, the only aspect of that I heard in the last budget was the rehabilitation of the Judge Charles School. To
that's for the
Boys Center.
Boys Training Center.
And they said, what month they said that would start? Next quarter? When? Next year?
Well, that should have started already. I don't see
So
any.
in the meantime, who's protecting the people? That's where the government. Where's the CIP money? That $110 million, Angie, that allegedly went to social SSDF before the election. You know how many safe houses that could make $110 million? You know how many boys centers that could make? That could build? If, and don't mind them telling you a bridge, a small bridge underground barely passing over the Shock River, that barely has a gallon of water in it, is costing $43 million. That's half, almost 1/4 of the SSDF millions. That can never happen. Let me tell you something. Get the people money to function and to build the resources, the safe houses for the children, for the women, for the men who are vulnerable. Too much money.
The men, Foster, the men are vulnerable, the men not vulnerable, huh? Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear Foster? Foster is saying the men are vulnerable.
There are men that they can pluck too, you know. The men just not crying.
But they're not going to make reports, Foster. Why are they not making reports?
The men.
Are they going to the police?
Some of the men are being abused. A lot of men are being abused too, you know, by women. The women just not killing the men, but the women taking a lot of the men money and depriving the men of a lot of things. Angie. So
hold on. You did not. You can't just say that and try and speed past it like you didn't just say that. Come on.
Angie,
let's review.
Some men.
Hold on.
Yes.
You said the women are taking a lot of the men money and depriving the men of a lot of things.
Yes.
How exactly does that work? Are the men coming to shop at the women's stores?
No, let me explain.
The
Before our listeners misinterpret. There are some men, Angie, when they get their pay packet, their salary, they have to go to the house and hand that over, you know, and they get some pocket change. Now, some of the men will not tell. They'll tell their best friends that, Angie. They'll not go and broadcast that everywhere. A lot of men are in that situation, you know.
That's not what you said, huh? That
requires
more explanation.
That's what I meant. So, we need to ask our government, Angie. We need to ask the police that when those reports come, whether I as a man come to the station to report domestic abuse, that my report will be taken seriously. That the police will go in pursuit of the woman that's beating me or taking my money. Angie.
Foster, but you tell me you can work on high tension wire. Why you have woman beating you and taking your money? Guys, back me up here.
Of our vulnerable men, Angie. Alright? So I need the police to come to account and to give us some kind of guarantee, Angie, that our communities will be patrolled and they will move fast towards reports that are made where persons are threatening our lives, because that's where what happens, that's what is converted to murders. That's what breed murders, you know. Threats against the person, individual making threats to beat you, to chop you, to cut your belly, cut your throat, to rob you. Those are what end up being murders. how serious is the authority or are the authorities in dealing with complaints from the public speedily, Angie? Conflicts like land dispute, Angie. You know how long we are asking for issues of land disputes to be settled in the court at a quicker rate? Suggestions have even been made to have a land court, a land dispute court, or tenant court.
There are a lot of people that feel that they can just squat on people's land and do it indiscriminately. So I agree with having a separate court for land disputes, because these things take up to 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5? Angie, there are cases that since my mother was a little girl that have ended, you know. There are some jurisdictions where they have gun courts because of the seriousness of those matters, Angie, and the urgency in dealing with those matters. They have created gun courts. They have created landlord and tenant courts to deal with. You know how many conflicts arise between landlord and tenant for rent? Look, we have a situation in the our minister made us aware of the problem at the arcade. Now that's government. Government may not boost your head for the rent, Angie. But if you rent it from me as a private person and you owe me 5 months rent and I can't put you out because the court is not even sitting on those matters. That's what frustrates the people, you know. That's what gets the people to a point where people are hurting people, you know, Angie. And it comes back to the court. So you enter my house as a tenant, Angie. You pay me 1 month. 2nd month, you already don't have money. You have nowhere to go. I give you a notice to leave. 2 months, 3 months, you're still there. So you owe me 4 months. You start giving me back chat. That you'll not leave until you get a house. It goes into 6 months, 7 months, Angie. You know what the landlord is left to do? And then we can, this is full disclosure, we can say it. The landlords cut water. They cut electricity. They uncover house. They take windows. They take doors. The people still in the house, Angie. It escalates to a point where all that time you have a matter before the court, you know, Angie. There is no resolution. Those are the issues that I know as a police officer. I went to persons' homes to quell trouble between landlord and tenant. Worse yet, when the landlord is living upstairs in the same structure, Angie. That person there in your face for 7 months and you can put them out. That's the real issue. Are we discussing those things sufficiently? Yeah. Is there anybody coming to tell the landlord their options to give them some relief? Your only relief is to go before the court and wait 5 years for a case to call, you know. There is no haste by the court on the court's part to deal with those matters. That's why we are where we are, Angie. And go to any police station and check the books and ask them, what are the common offenses reported? Threats, landlord-tenant dispute, predial larceny, people stealing, people green fig, people dashing, different people, animals, especially goats. Nowadays there is a big market for goat meat, Angie.
I was on a bus the other day and I heard a guy saying that there was a roadblock in the Ferrans. I don't feel that's still cul-de-sac. When you're approaching where Fresh Start have all their trucks there, just before you get to the Ferrans Gap. Yeah, that's Fresh Start.
That's Fresh Start?
No. No. After you pass Renault. You pass Renault and you're heading down to, do you know where Lisa has her office? You remember where the BPMU office used to be?
BPMU, what's that?
Banana Production Management Unit.
You mean the gas station?
Bonji.
What's the gas station?
Okay, let's backtrack. Do you know where Renault has now provided shelter for the containers?
Yes.
And you're coming down that road. There is the Central Point Capital.
Oh, on the left.
After Renault, there's this place where they have the little bakery container thingy.
Oh yes.
And they sell the
yes.
materials there, right? And right next to it, there's an upstairs and downstairs building.
Yes.
Lisa has her office downstairs. BPMU used to be downstairs back in the day. Across from there are trucks. That's Fresh Start.
Okay.
Yeah, Fresh Start saying they're making more money from the. You see, Fresh Start is saying, ironically, back when Alan Chastney was in power, they used to have design, finance, and construct. But now they're getting their money cash. They're making more money, so they're expanding.
Okay. I agree.
So they had to finance in Alan Chastney's day. But today they're making more money and they laugh about it. Also, I'm told. But in that area there was a roadblock. And a vehicle was passing full of goods. And when that person saw the police roadblock, they reverse under the bush there. I was on a bus. I don't know how true it is, but that's what I overheard the story on the bus and I started laughing. I gotta say, he laughed so much because he said to himself, that has to be stolen goods that are in that vehicle, the way that person reversed there.
Yeah. So, what does the future hold, Angie? If a witness, because the young lady who was killed and the women who were killed in the previous matters, they were complainants, they were witnesses. So court witnesses have been killed before the cases are decided. So how does that influence future witnesses? If you witness something, Angie, like a murder, do you think you're sufficiently secured to go and report it and to give the police that information?
Listen, if I was caught on camera reporting the murder, when the police come to me, I tell them at that point I couldn't see, I was blind. I didn't see anything. My eyes was covered like so. I did not see anything because, let me tell you something. The stories that I have heard, I heard a guy say once that he noticed, he lived next to a garage and he noticed suspicious activity. So he reported it and he said to the police, come with an unmarked vehicle and in plain clothes. And I will, a vehicle, come with an unmarked vehicle with that tinted, I will go with you and I will show you exactly where the suspicious activity is taking place. When the police come, they come with their siren on. All of them well decked out in their uniform. At that point, the guy just developed amnesia. He don't remember, he don't recall, he don't even think it was him that made the call. Another person said they witnessed someone breaking into their neighbor's house and they called the police. And they said to the police, I saw the perpetrator's face. The police brought the person to the person's house. So if Angie says she see Foster Chico climbing the window, they bring me to Foster house and say, good night, Foster. Angie, is that the person you saw? I deaf, dumb, blind, mute. So let me tell you something. If I see, I don't see. I don't know if the police, but in all honesty, in the 2025 budget presentation, the Prime Minister made a pronouncement that they were going to start amending the laws to allow for greater protections under the law for witnesses of crimes. I haven't seen any movement. I haven't heard anything. And I've been waiting for that. So you think maybe the Prime Minister forget? Because he does forget a lot of things.
Angie,
he does forget all his qualifications.
Amending the laws. We have laws already. Witnesses are not secured. Making an amendment on paper and making you more safe, you know.
Foster.
The ladies would have been killed.
Foster, I can only repeat what the Prime Minister said. He said they are going to make amendments to the laws to offer greater protection for witnesses to crime.
I'll give the Prime Minister some recommendations.
I think you should.
Pay people for information. Pay informants. And upon your arrest of the person and closing of the case, pay the people. There's a reward fund, Angie. Even as a police officer, you apply for a reward for an informant, you're not getting it. I'll say that again. The reward fund put money in it, Mr. Prime Minister. You're putting money everywhere where you can give your supporters food vouchers. That's not where the money should go. Don't give politicians, people money. Put the monies in the reward fund so that if persons witness a crime, they can give the information anonymously and they can get money upon the arrest and conviction of the criminals. Put the money there. Get the system of firearm license back working the way it used to work before. You come and you put your hands in the firearms process, and now nobody know who gets firearm, who does not get firearm, because the police, for some reason, you all decided that the police commissioner is taking too long, or the police commissioner is excluding too many people off your list.
So,
and I've said it.
Okay, backtrack a bit. There's a reward fund.
Yes.
What is it there? What is the purpose of that fund?
The reward fund, Angie, is a fund made available by the state. Managed, I guess, by the Commissioner of Police. So that if an informant gives information on a crime, that person, through the police officer, they gives the information, can apply for a reward.
Okay.
Now, if you can recall, some years ago when there was
the gun amnesty,
the police were recovering, being given, receiving
Homemade firearms.
guns, all type, homemade, factory made, and they were, those that couldn't fire.
Ready made.
Yeah. And they were giving you
Money to buy new guns.
$1,000, $2,000.
Now, before I make a
Depending.
joke of it, you know I like to laugh. This is not my fault. Please, guys, forgive me. But we heard reports that people were handing in derelict, homemade
Guns and getting
guns and getting monies and going out and buying brand new, not even reconditioned, brand new firearms. Did the police actually have
who said that?
information?
Who said that?
I heard that somewhere.
Somebody, could it have been a politician who said that?
It could be.
Or in the political
I'm not sure.
circle?
I'm not sure, but I know I heard the talk back
I
then.
heard it too.
But I'm not sure. I don't think at this time my brain cells firing enough for me to trace it back. But I'm just saying, I want to know if the police had information pointing that out, or if that's just Powell Bolawi. Because at that time you were on your high tension wires. Did you hear anything?
I heard that too while I was in the service, Angie. What I also heard recently, I heard the Prime Minister say that the guy said that they're not bringing in the gun because they need it
To protect themselves.
protection.
Yes, I heard him say that. And he said, the gun arms, just because we didn't get any guns, that doesn't mean it was a failure. I want to ask the Prime Minister, has the definition of failure changed since you took office?
So if you get no maximum exam,
Foster, this thing's tricky, you know. I once, listen, guys, this is a true story. You did integrated science at school, right?
yes,
I once had an integrated science exam in the class. You know, the class teachers, they always give you a little pop quiz.
a quiz.
And one of my classmates scored 0.5 over 100. You know. And when we asked the teacher, how is that possible? She said he spelled his name right. So she gave him a call. You know how hurtful that is? So I think the Prime Minister is trying to give the police a 0.5 just for putting out the box and hosting the gun amnesty, because I don't understand how. If the objective was to get firearms off the street, and you open the box and you don't even hear a cricket chirping. You know in the Disney movies, Foster, you have daughters, so you must have sat through one or two Disney movies in your time. My daughter made me watch every Disney movie ever. And when she started the Disney movies, I had to watch all the Barbie movies. And in the Disney movies, there are certain times when you would see the cartoon character open their wallet and you see some cobwebs in it and a spider running out. And you hear crickets chirping. So if they open the box and not even a cricket that chirping and no cobwebs in it, you still saying it was not a failure? What do we call that? But then that just reminded me of something as I said it out loud. That is just that's the definition of our administration, you know, the SLP administration. They do nothing. Cosmetic changes. For example, Domestic Violence Act. The first line of that document reads, and I quote, "We will develop a framework." When I read that first line, I just closed the document.
So, yeah, because
I don't want to see the rest.
you have an act and you don't have a framework.
You have an act and you don't have a framework? How? We will develop a
I
framework.
remember the minister when that bill was introduced in the House by the then minister. She said that children non pass a bat from you because you can't l'argent.
Yeah, she said that.
She said that in the House.
But I'm telling you, I got a copy of the document. First line reads, "We will develop a framework."
Well, the
Not we are developing a framework or we have developed a framework. We will. But weapon more chess, your parliament more will take effect.
Well, the criminals have the framework. It's well framed.
Foster, the criminals have framework. They have structure.
They have walls.
They have windows. They have doors. They have separation. They even have tiles. They have tiles. They have all kinds of things. The criminals are well prepared, and we still lagging behind. And we will develop our framework. It's hurtful, and we wonder why the criminals are running circles around the police.
Angie, Mr. De Freitas, we mentioned him earlier.
Mm-hmm.
He said hopefully there are 800 cameras. That's working. Now, as to where they are, I don't know.
We don't need to know.
So, but he said that they're now developing a framework.
Member frameworks encore.
That the police would wish that they would get persons to monitor all the cameras.
In real time. I've heard him say that before.
So that you can know if something is happening at Deglo Junction now, at Roseau Junction now.
Well, at Deglo Junction is well monitored, because there are security cameras. I don't know if you will remember that, but the security cameras at Deglo were very instrumental in catching the fella that pulled the cow into the car. So
yeah, I know those cameras are working.
Oh, trust me.
We have relied on them a lot for accidents at.
Yeah, but I hope you all caught that guy. The guy apparently Jackie bad say he plea bad. This guy, I don't know if you remember that, but this guy parked his car next to the cow.
You mean a guy stole a cow?
You didn't know about that? Car? Let me give you the story. So this guy, this is what I saw on the surveillance footage. This guy, there was this cow languishing by the road, a very healthy looking cow, chewing its cud. This guy parked his vehicle next to the cow, got out of the vehicle, took the rope and tied the rope, because you know the rope is always
very long,
and tied the rope, enter in the car and pull the cow into the car, shut the door, come outside, shut the door and drive off. It was quite fascinating.
You sure he's not a pond keeper?
No. It was, I'd never seen a cow board a car before. This is something you don't forget. It's kind of like the lady that asked the people on the news, the government tell her to take out the house because she was squatting on crown lands, but what about the pillow trees? She already made the pillow trees. How is she going to move the pillow trees? These things you do not forget.
You don't forget that.
No, you don't forget. That was a visual. I'm telling you the story and I'm seeing it. I cannot believe you did not see this.
I've seen a guy steal a sheep in a car. In fact, there were two of them. He came out.
No, this was one guy. This was one guy.
One guy?
This was one guy.
That guy is a real expert.
No, let me tell you, it was expertly done. I must say his form was, if they had an Olympics for stealing cows, this guy would be I think they'll have to give him a diamond medal. The gold will not be enough. But seriously, Foster, I mean, I cannot believe you did not see that. That was a couple of years ago now.
Did see that
happened before
COVID. I saw the one in the ship. And I saw that one, it was along Bexo.
Yes, but I'm telling you.
Not Deglo, but along Bexo.
In that Deglo gap there that happened, a white car. I can still remember. The video was in black and white, but I knew it was a white car.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it was expertly done. It was quite memorable. You cannot forget that. I'm sure there are people on the live that can recall that, because that made headlines on social media. It was epic. It was epic.
So we need get our levy. What's the name?
Health Security and Citizen Security Levy. So they know who they're securing, Yeah. Citizens. It's not for criminals.
Yeah.
Or politicians. It's for the citizens.
The funds from that tax, get cameras and get people to monitor the cameras in real time.
Now, Foster, you were not here last week We had a new show, by the way, and
I listened to
yes,
Inside to it.
right, and what's his name? Mr. Xavier was making a very important point. He said that police officers should not be wasted taking 999 calls. What we should have is a separate dispatch service to take those calls, filter, screen them, and then dispatch them to police officers who are already patrolling. These police officers should be patrolling, and this dispatch unit should be getting those calls and calling whoever on the car radio. Are you in this area?
We don't have radios.
Oh boy.
Now I take what Mr. Xavier said. He know what he's talking about, because 20 years ago, and you know who developed that? The white man, Mr. Burton. Not the white man that we sent to Shen's of thinking. The English men came down here.
Yes, I remember that.
And they're the ones who told us that we need to get the vehicles, the patrol vehicles out. They divided the country into 4 quadrants, well, castries, the pilot project. And we would have an area who patrolling Bexo, the Mon, Deglo area, Cicero, that side, the west side, Castries north, Castries east. So 4 quadrants. The vehicle would be there 24/7.
Just patrolling.
So when the 999 call comes, or persons monitoring the camera and they saw a man pulling that cow in the white car.
Yeah.
That vehicle, patrol vehicle, would already be Sarot, Bexo.
And en route.
It would take you 5 minutes to intercept that car. Because you're already there. That vehicle is only at Bexo and Sarot. How long does it take you to move from Bexo Highway to the top of Sarot?
Not long.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, yeah.
With a good vehicle, not a vehicle like
If it's me that driving, maybe 0.5 minutes. 0.5 minutes, because when I on the road is go, I go. I on my business, you on yours.
The white man told us that 20 years ago. We still cannot do that now. So when Mr. Xavier said that, he was in the force at the time, so you recall that. That's a good plan. The framework again, we're done moving into plan already.
Okay, so y'all had the pillow trees up.
We had the pillow trees up already. So that's what today we don't even have the cement to do the pillow trees there.
Jesus.
That's so much we have regressed, Angie. Nothing is working anymore, you know.
But I recall some time ago the police received a shipment of radios. Kose radios, that was a couple of years ago. That's years ago, before COVID.
Angie, between 2017 and 2021, we had working radios.
Yes, that's what
I was at the Marshall police station. Mr. Ellis used to give a radio
class
update, a radio call every morning to all the police stations, because he mounted some Nemo radios at all stations. They were working alongside the police radios. Every morning there would be a radio check. Mr. Ellis would be calling, Marshall Police, this is whatever. How do you copy? And an officer would copy, and he would call Conrays, he would call Ancillary, he would call. Tell me today we don't have that. 8 years, 9 years down the road, none of those radios are working. So what happened to the radios?
That's what I was asking you. I thought you knew. You were the one on the high tension wires, not me. I know you must have seen something.
Angie, I'm telling you something. The authorities are playing the fool. The politicians are fooling the people. All right? This will happen in the United Workers' Party. Between 2017 and 2021, they were working radios in the police stations. Between 21 and 26, we don't have one. The police officer at Central Police Station, they cannot call Marshal if the telephone lines are down. And we want to control crime.
Maybe their batteries are dead, Foster. I don't look at me like that. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
There is a deliberate, it seemed to me that there is something, a deliberate plan to keep things the way they are. Because there is no sensible explanation for that.
Yeah.
If the police cannot protect people, the people who are qualified for firearm licenses, give it to them for them to protect themselves. Mr. Prime Minister, you're going to play in the issuance of firearm license because some people could not get firearms from the commissioner. So you all took it out of the hands of the commissioner. You did it. Your administration did it. You all did that in 2021.
You pointing your hands at me.
Not you, I was pointing on
okay.
over your head.
Well, point to the camera because it's not me. I didn't do it.
All right. So the ladies who today listened to I listened to a message from Gary Griffith, the former Commissioner of Trinidad and Tobago.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was giving some pressure, telling him how he was one of the worst commissioners and so on. And he made the point about different patrol units he provided for schools and for vulnerable women and things. He had adult protection unit and so on he did. And he said, under his watch as Commissioner of Police, the most firearms licenses were issued under his time as Commissioner to women in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. Can we say that in St. Lucia? Now, if the women are qualified or if they are efficient in the use of firearm, give them the firearm license.
But Foster, in St. Lucia, a woman cannot even legally walk around with pepper spray.
That was another issue that he raised. That pepper spray, under his watch as commissioner, women were authorized to buy and to carry pepper spray. Trinidad crime is vis-a-vis the population. Trinidad crime is high. Well, it has dropped lately. Trinidad and Jamaica ain't easy when it comes to crime. We know that. Mm-hmm. And Gary Griffith is telling you. So those things are mentioned on there. He has mentioned it up to this today. I watch it. And if you go online, you'll see it. Gary Griffith, and the man made special reference to the protection of women, vulnerable women. If the women are qualified for firearm licenses, give it to them. If the men,
I don't think they should do that, Foster. Speaking as one of those women, because Foster.
Angie, so you wouldn't want a firearm?
I don't want a firearm. I don't want a firearm, Foster.
You don't want one?
Mm-mm. No, because there's a debate in my family right now. My mom is issued a firearm license, but because of her age, there are age restrictions, and she's saying that the police are saying she can still renew it, but give it to one of her kids who has,
But you'll have estate.
Yes,
you'll have
yes.
gun estate. You can use the firearm on your estate.
But listen. So that there was a family. It's Fire FM. There was a family discussion about who would be entrusted with that license. Nobody picked me. No.
I wouldn't pick you.
Nobody picked me, and I was disqualified. I wasn't even thinking about it. I didn't even pick myself. Imagine.
I didn't pick you before.
I didn't even pick myself. Because the thing about it is, Foster, when you have these weapons, I am personally of the view that these things are temptation. I don't see it as protection. I see it as temptation.
It isn't.
It should not be.
You know the motto, Angie?
It should not be.
You know the soldiers' motto?
The land the people alive?
No. It's better to have a firearm and don't you have use for it
than to not have it and need it.
Need it and you don't have it.
I have friends. I have a friend of mine who said to me, your stance on guns, you should change it, because this friend of mine was teaching his 12-year-old son. But my friend is a former army officer, former police officer, former army officer. And he says, they live in the United States, and he said to me that I'm teaching him how to use guns in the right way, safely. Because I was appalled that you would teach a 12-year-old child how to fire and use a gun. He said, no, I'm teaching him gun safe. He said to him, this is not St. Lucia. Okay, he's going to come across, he lives in the States, he's going to come across a gun.
Everybody in the States have a gun.
Right. And he said to me, so I'm teaching him how to handle guns safely. And if it is he comes into contact with it, he will be able to handle himself. Personally, I see these firearms like walking with a scissors, walking with a knife, walking. No, I see. This is how I see it, as temptation. Pepper spray I can handle. I still not trust in myself, but I'm okay. I'm a bit more okay with that, because I have been a witness to an argument between two people, and one of the girls was walking away. But guess what she was walking? She was walking away from the argument with a purpose. She lived nearby. And this other girl is antagonizing her, and she's walking away. But she's walking towards her home. And the girl is following her. And myself and another friend of mine who was there, we stepped in and we broke up the argument. And you know what she said to me after the other girl left? Why did you do that? Why did you stop her? You should have let her come. I was just waiting for me to get into my gate for her to follow me inside so I can deal with her. And then she took out the knife. She had a knife on her. And she was walking towards her home. She was walking towards her yard. And she was just praying that that girl follow her inside the yard. Because then, you in my yard. What you doing in my yard? You trespassing. So, if she didn't have that knife, maybe she would not be thinking along those lines. And maybe it was God that sent me to intervene then, me and my other friend, to stop whatever could have gone wrong at that time. Because this girl was really, the girl, mother trying to stop her, sister trying to stop her, she not stopping. And the girl is walking away. And she following the girl, and the girl quiet, and she walking away. She following her back to her home. You know what could have happened? You understand? I see these things as, I may be naive, but I see it as temptation. Somebody look for trouble with you. They push you and they push you and they push you.
That's why.
And you snap.
That's why.
And that's what you reach for. Although I know somebody who said to me that they found themselves in a situation like that. And he had his licensed firearm on his side. And he said the first thing he did was put down the firearm. But that person is a lethal weapon all on their own, because the person is trained in martial arts.
Martial arts too.
Yeah. So he said the first thing I did, because it was somebody who was interfering with his daughter, and he said the first thing I did, I put down the firearm. But when I finished with him, he have no locks in his head left. I lay him out flat and I called the ambulance. But I'm not trained in martial arts, so I feel like the firearm will embolden me. And I will, because there are some people, honestly, Foster, if I really listen to myself, there are some people that deserve some bullets in the big toe, you know.
Angie, a friend told me, a certain commissioner of police told him, he's the last person he'll ever issue a firearm.
Because
some people
really know how to push you.
You have to, and that's why you have to go through certain training and situations for you to be given a firearm license. Because the quick to draw person
quick draw McGraw
should not be getting a firearm.
Because Foster, it for you as a trained law enforcement official, you will not think of, okay, the first thing I do. You might do like my friend, and the first thing you do is put down your firearm because you don't want to be tempted to use it. But me, the layman, I'm telling you, we had a huge family discussion and nobody picked me. I didn't even pick myself.
You'll be surprised when you have it.
Mm-hmm.
And you see ignorant people doing ignorance, and you'll be so calm. You'll wait.
You think so?
You wait your turn
to speak.
To act.
You think so?
You wait your turn, Angie, because you see the stupid person that there.
You think so, Foster?
Yes,
you have a lot of faith in me. Thank you for that. But honestly, Foster, I'm a very mischievous person. You might find a lot of people going to the accident and emergency with bullet wounds across their buttocks because I'll make the bullet pass me across the two sides. I'm not shooting to kill, but I'm just shooting to give you a pain that you never forget. So every time you sit down, you think of me. Yes.
Yeah, but Angie, now that's the in the absence of our security on the street. Me and you are here now. We'll be living here. It is late. It is night.
Yeah.
Who's protecting me and you when you go outside in the
I stand up behind you. I don't know.
And where else?
I don't know, but
So if I run, Angie?
I run in too.
Or you run?
If you run, I run in too. You remember that time when they had the vigil? I stayed very close and I was very upset that you kept walking around. Guys, honestly, I have to report Foster here. So we went to this vigil in a very uncomfortable area for me because I'd never been in that area before. There was a shooting there just a few weeks before we did that vigil. And I was so happy when I got there, I spotted Foster. So I'm saying to myself, I'm going to stand right next to Foster. There was another police officer that I knew there. So I said, I'm going to stand between the two officers. Could you imagine, folks? Foster just kept going up and down, patrolling. I don't know where. By the time I reached Foster somewhere else. The whole vigil, I walking around trying to be close to Foster. In the end, I just gave up. Foster, you just kept patrolling.
Well, I was trying to stand behind somebody. So I didn't know you expected protection from me. So who'll protect me?
I don't. The rest of the partners on your force, I don't know. The rest of your partners on the force.
So that's what we say in Angie. And for the rest of this month, until the end of this month, the authorities have to make us feel comfort us in knowing that things will not be business as usual. Angie, we don't want to hear another vulnerable person who have been in the system and who have been gunned down. But it can be a person related to me, Angie.
Do you think,
if it is somebody related to me, I don't know how I'll act.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that given these circumstances, because with Alana Bernard it was a shock, everybody was shocked, nobody knew how to behave, but with this second incident where it is documented all the steps that this girl took, so much so that the police have revealed that she made a report the very morning of her murder, hours before she was killed.
Did the police say that?
Yeah. They said
And what happened to that
she
report?
made a report at 8:30 a.m. that morning.
And
I don't know.
that was the end of the report?
That's
the end of what they said, the statement?
And they said, well, she made a report at 8:30 a.m. that morning
That the guy threatened her.
that the guy was threatening her life. You know, she made follow-up reports. She made several reports because in that recorded phone conversation. So do you think now, since it was already in the works, in the pipeline, do you think now the Prime Minister will make good on his promise to grant greater protections under the law
Angie,
to witnesses in crimes?
if the police said that, and let us see, because that's why I ask you, and what? If, let us say, the police, now remember, like I told you in another time, we did not know who the suspect, his capabilities were. But having to, since then, we got to know
He's
that
an
the
army
suspect
officer.
is a soldier. Now, let us say the police, that report was true, that the police got that report 8 o'clock, 8:40 in the morning. And the guy was evading them.
Because they said there were attempts to arrest him, I think by the Grosley police station or whatever. Because I think I'm not sure if it's the same report. It could be a different report. But part of it was said that she went to the ancillary police station, they were not able to do anything. She went to the Grosley police station, and the Grosley police attempted to arrest him, but he was very successful at evading the police.
Yeah, but Angie, again, that's where I tell you, common sense has to prevail. If I'm looking for Angie is a dangerous suspect on the loose. I'm the dangerous. All APBs out already. And we're tracking Angie and Angie disappeared. Lost us in traffic or somewhere. The person who made the report against Angie, the next safest thing to do
Is to stick close to this person.
is to call that person and secure that person, you know. That's why I ask you, and if I am understanding, and I heard it in one area, I don't know if it is true, but I can say it. When the report was made at Ancillary, the police said that they don't have transport at the time.
Yeah. And I heard that too.
Now, Angie, you see that alone,
Indictment.
that got me more angry. In a case like that, you don't need, if the police have so many vehicles that are on the road, you telling me because the station doesn't have a vehicle at the time,
You can call a police.
and the
officer.
person is by that mango tree there, no other person can respond to that report? Somebody must die. Somebody must die. And in the real world, when things like that happen, people get fired, you know, and people lose their jobs, you know.
Well, I tell you
We
what.
know that. We hate on news, we hate happen in England, we hate happen in America, we have. In the real world, when people do not respond to things like that and people are killed, it doesn't take 24 hours. People lose their, go home, you know. Whether it's politicians, whether it's police commissioner, whether it's mayor, they're going home, you know.
Yeah. Only in St. Lucia they are safer in their jobs.
Boy, I tell you, Angie, I've spoken to so many people, those ex-police officers, normal civilians, and they tell you that, you see that murder? That has broken down, that has clogged one of the valves in the heart of St. Lucians, you know.
Yeah. I'm Foster. I'm
People
telling
are
you,
sleeping well with that.
this is not. This is a situation that has touched the entire populace. St. Lucian's. Let me tell you, the government better come correct, because that murder alone.
That changing the whole dynamics.
Let me
of
tell
things,
you.
know.
Let me tell you, because when you look at it, this is an individual who did everything that she could to save herself and her daughter. And rumor has it, there's even speculation that the child was in the vehicle at the time of the shooting. There is speculation. There is speculation that the child was in, a 2-year-old child was in the vehicle at the time of the shooting. And this has touched mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandmothers. These people, for the first time I heard St. Lucians saying that they're ready to take to the streets. And you know St. Lucians are mild-mannered people.
I heard fellas in the block say that as far as they're concerned, they should have hung it already.
Yeah.
Remember a certain minister said, don't even be caught for a particular person. Just hung him.
Yeah.
When there was a double murder in on Slurry, you remember?
I remember.
Mother
and child.
Child.
Yeah.
The MP at the time said, don't even charge him and just take him and go and hang him in the square. And a lot of people are saying, people have reached a point, Angie. The population have reached a point where I don't know if there is a lot of hypocrisy too, but I believe people are genuinely
affected and fed up, especially in this case, to know that somebody tried so hard.
But I can imagine
and you know what really irks people? To know that one magistrate denied bail and another one, a judge, granted bail. And that guy out on bail still found this girl. And to know that this guy, to hear that recorded conversation, that is what touched me. This guy is saying, we didn't get married for us not to be together. And she's saying, well, it's over. And he is saying, you know what, because I'm trying to compromise with you, so you don't want to compromise, okay, fine. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to kill you. And you adamant. And then he's saying to her, you don't believe me. You know, you don't believe me.
You're laughing, you don't believe me.
Yeah, you don't believe me. But I'm serious. I'm being honest.
Angie, let me tell you. Let me tell you something.
This was premeditated. You telling me that this girl went to the trouble of recording that conversation and didn't play it for the police? I'm sure she did.
I tell you, a lot of people, if I had my own way, Angie, if I was ruling this land, a lot of people would not be working again. And that's from the head to the toe. I'm taking out some of the hair on the head of some people and taking out some of the teeth in the mouth, and I'm coming down the body. Hair, some people losing hair, some losing their head, some losing teeth, some losing eyes.
Foster, there's a petition out. A petition out to reinstate the death penalty. And thousands of people.
Let me disappoint you now. That will never happen. You will never see they hung anybody again in St. Lucia. So that petition, I support
we don't need to hang them, Foster, but maybe we can just give them
that's
the
on the
electric
books,
chair.
Angie.
Maybe we can just give them the electric
I have an old criminal code there. I'm sure if I get the section on murder, on capital murder, it's in that, And that's a criminal code of 1994.
That's when you were still in school, man.
Yeah. It's in the book. It's in black and white. But don't expect to ever hear anybody hung in St. Lucia.
Well, what about
again,
firing squad?
Angie. Oh, that one even worse. That one you'll only dream of that. So what I'm
Lethal
saying,
injection?
people say put them by get a crusher, the crushing stone.
We still have the guillotine from the 1700s, you know.
In the archive somewhere.
It's in the archive somewhere.
That probably was left at HMP.
Maybe.
Angie, let me tell you something.
Because Foster, it cannot be. And these people who put that petition together, they have a point. They're saying that knowing that this is no longer on the books, it has become free reign for criminals because they don't see. Listen,
let me ask you a question.
That's one of the times when I miss John Compton, you know.
Let me ask you a question. If they put that to a vote in the House, of our 17 representatives, how many of the 17 you think that will vote for the death penalty?
I know one that will not.
Who, the general?
Not the general. The general might abstain from the vote.
No, we haven't no abstaining. Huh?
The lawyer.
There's a lawyer in the House?
Supposedly.
There's any lawyer in the House? Oh! I tell you, that person is not a lawyer, you know.
Officer of the court.
Don't fool ourselves. We think that person is a lawyer. That person is not a lawyer.
I don't think Alan Chastney would vote for it.
You don't think?
He too soft-hearted.
So give me a number, Angie. We're dealing with 17.
Okay.
Out of 17, tell me the fraction.
Okay. So that one not going to vote because that one don't want to say nothing definitive on crime. This one is a criminal himself. He will not want himself to be killed. That one is more of a criminal. He'll not want to agree. This one will probably look to see how everybody else voting. So they might not vote until they see how many people voting in favor. So that's a delayed vote. That one already on their way out. So that's one.
So all the time is persons that would defect. You continue?
No, I have one. I have one vote.
You have
so
one
far.
vote.
One vote so far.
Penalty.
Yeah, I checked 5 of them. One vote so far. Let me see. That one might vote. I know how that one will vote. That one too soft-hearted. He'll say no. He'll say, can't we all just get along? Kumbaya. You know which one I'm talking about.
One would be Tatambu and say Kumbaya. The Tabu man.
Hello. The Tabu man self. And he don't know if he coming or he going. The one from Labrie, he can't even speak on his own ministry. He's not on that he'll speak.
So you only one vote, you say that will, one person you think that will vote.
Only one person, so far.
Now you know why we don't know what they think? Because those are very important things. That's what we should be asking the politicians. Those are our leaders, you know.
Oh, 2 of them. I feel the police might vote for it. Given that he into policing and he know.
You think so?
I think so, yeah. I feel he might look at the table too.
I heard him speak at the Constitution Park, and he didn't even sound like a policeman. I don't even think he knows what the death penalty is. So, the reason we don't know, Angie, is because those men, we elect them, and we know nothing about them.
Yeah, that's true.
But I tell you that petition, it can have 50,000 votes. You'll never see somebody hung in St. Lucia.
I still want to sign it.
So, the recommendations that we need to make it that in the next week, before the end of this month, the people who cause that system to be failing all the time, we have to ask them, either you get out of the job or you do your job. People have to account, because I tell you, in the real world, some people would have lost their job. Either commissioners would have gone home, politicians would have gone home, mayors would have gone home, public servants would have gone home. The support services, those people, and the court people, some of them would have gone at their homes already in the real world. But you don't expect that to happen in St. Lucia, because everybody in St. Lucia, the majority of St. Lucians, are sheep.
Guys, even if you didn't know this girl, but this girl's story must touch you. I couldn't sleep the night. I have not been able to sleep properly. I can't get this guy's voice calmly saying to this girl, I am going to kill you, out of my mind. I cannot get this story out of my mind. As a woman, as a mother, as a sister, as a daughter, as a cousin, as an aunt, we cannot. We let it slide with Alana Bernard. We didn't say anything. We said,
Alana Bernard had children, right?
Yeah, 2.
2 children.
2 children.
Young children.
Mm-hmm. We said, oh my God, how could this happen? But in Alana Bernard's case, we didn't know her story. We didn't go and find out what her story was. But Joyce and Uma, we know the story. I am imploring you, St. Lucians, do not let this die. Do not let this go. Enough is enough. Enough of our young women. Enough of our young women have been lost. In most cases, we blame the perpetrator. This person was obsessed. This person was a monster. This person was a criminal. But in this case, we know where the deficiency is. And we know that the deficiency in this case is something we can change. In all the other cases, we let it go because we say, oh, the perpetrator is a monster. No matter what we do, we can't change that person. But in this case, it's our justice system that failed us. Not just her, us. And this is something that we can change.
Angie, let me ask you a question, because I know the time is on us.
Mm-hmm.
Would we feel any different if it was a young man?
I don't know.
Because a lot of young men have died, and they were not involved in any.
Yeah. Look at the father.
And the men have not made any significant.
Let's go back to that vigil I was telling you about. One of the people that we were lighting candles for that day was a father who was on his way to getting a haircut to go to his daughter's graduation. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Totally innocent, not involved in anything. Proud father, rushing to get a haircut to go and stand up for his daughter. And none of the men spoke.
Yeah.
None of the men had a march.
Yeah.
But the women were out in full force because of that pregnant mother that died.
The women came out.
The women came out in full force that day because a pregnant mother died.
So do you really think that the population is really anxious to see a change in attitude towards that? Or Is it because it's a lady that
No.
people laugh?
It's not about that, Foster. It doesn't matter who died. This time, it's something that we can do something about. This time, it's not about this monster. We expect monsters to be monsters. This time, it is the justice system that failed us. If a judge can grant bail without knowing the full story, without knowing the full parameters of the case.
The book said, I read somewhere today that the book said that previous inquiries does not prevent a decision like that.
Then we need to change that. I'm serious. Then we need.
No, for true. We need
to change that.
We need to change
so
that.
Normally, when things like that happen, we blame the perpetrator. This is a monster. A monster that was hiding in plain sight that we didn't even know was there. We didn't recognize this monster. And it cost a young woman or a young man his life. But this time, we recognize the monster. We caught the monster. We caged the monster. And some other person, a technicality in our justice system, set that monster free. We recognize that monster. We caught the monster. We caged the monster. And our own justice system failed us. This is why it's different. This is why it hits different. This is something we can change. We cannot stop monsters from being monsters. But we can stop the technicality. We can change the technicality in our justice system that allowed that cage to be open and that monster to be set free to run rampage on the citizenry.
What do you think would be easier? Or would the authorities look at the easiest approach? Change the legislation or put the facilities like the shelters and things open? I bet they'll go for the easiest one.
The easiest one
is to do which one?
The easiest one for this administration, they will do absolutely nothing. I'm serious. They will do nothing. They will talk. They will provide a framework. That's what they will do. Because they don't want to tackle it. It's messy.
But let me tell you something, Angie. If something does not happen before the 31st of May.
If we don't hear something before the 31st of May.
And you see the next homicide. You see if something like that happen again, this country is not coming back. You hear me? If nothing is said by the politicians before the end of May.
And let me tell you something,
And that happens again, this country is buried.
Let me tell you something. Not just... I don't think the Prime Minister understands the situation he's in. Because this is a sobering event for so many Saint-Lucians. And to hear the Prime Minister come with his usual
reading a script, the Prime Minister is
reading some nonsense,
a sloppy speech,
and talking about the opinion makers and the opinion takers. You know how fed up so many people were of that nonsense? Some people, I'm telling you, were tearing their red shirts that night in shame. And fed upness, because this is ridiculous what the Prime Minister did there, and that is an indictment on him, and he better straighten up and fly right. He better pull up his socks and lace up his boots.
His clown socks.
I don't know what kind of socks he have, because the last time I saw a picture of him coming out of a vehicle and he had silly socks on.
Yeah. I wonder who buys his socks.
Maybe his granddaughter or grandson. I don't know what the baby is. I don't know. But I'm on a serious note. He may not realize it, but that foolishness will not be tolerated. Not in this case.
Angie, we have reached the tipping point.
Yeah, we have.
And this government, the Prime Minister and them had to be very, very,
Very careful.
And the Commissioner of Police and them, if they don't want an all-out
1979.
If the Commissioner and the Prime Minister and the government don't want a whitewashing of the laws of this country and mayhem to take over the street, they had better ensure that that does not happen again. The next homicide, Angie, if you see it have any resemblance of that, I tell you, this country is down the bottom of the cliff.
Well, we're in free fall right now, Foster, and I'm telling you, people are fed up. Because you see, it's easy for us to say, mate really is a criminal, you know. This guy is a monster to do something like that. And we didn't know he would be like that.
Yeah.
If I had known. But in this case, we knew. We saw it. We had the evidence. The police acted. The police, you know, you cannot blame the police in this situation. They caught the guy. They put him behind bars. The police prosecutor stood up and said no bail. So this guy was locked away. And our own judicial system failed us. So whether I don't doubt that the judge acted in accordance with the law. But that means the laws need to change. And the people responsible for changing the law, the people responsible for changing the law are the executive. And to hear the Prime Minister come and talk foolishness about separation of powers, he might very well...
Was it Jeremiah who said that's a learning process?
I don't know what he better learn quick. The Prime Minister may very well be facing a separation of himself and his post very soon, because that's nonsense, that's foolishness. And let me tell you something, I don't care what anybody says. If it was John Compton, God rest his soul, and people will never stop missing that man. Foster, if it was John Compton that was in power and this thing happened, you know heads would be rolling. I don't have to tell you that, you know that.
The last set of people that were hung there, under which administration it happened, you think?
John Compton, eh? Heads would be rolling.
I tell you, in the real world, persons from different ministries and...
Somebody says, Jeremiah said it's an eye-opener. Eye-opener. That's what he said.
Yeah.
I hope Jeremiah's eyes wide open for him to see himself losing his seat, because you see that foolishness these people are doing. They were playing around. They were doing their nonsense. They were acting as if they were in clown college. But nobody had gotten hurt. They always tell you it's all fun and games until somebody gets hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody has gotten hurt. Somebody has gotten hurt. A father lost his daughter. A mother lost her daughter. A child lost a mother. A brother lost a sister. A whole community lost a member. No more clown college. The gloves are off. They better pull up their socks,
and
lace up their boots, and straighten up and fly right.
The people ain't waiting anymore.
Let me tell you.
There is no wait again. Huh?
First, I see all that rain that fall in there. You see all the what the Prime Minister say, it watered the whole weekend.
Yeah.
None of that water will douse that flame once that spark is lit.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, guys, this is it for the special edition of full disclosure, today Monday, 25th of May 2026. Sorry I wasn't here the whole time. But I know y'all were in good hands with Foster. Foster had all his information. And again, I apologize for the late start. You know how it is. It's a holiday and the bus system is not, well, poor excuse. But thank you for still joining us and being here with us. And even if this is a very sobering conversation, but it needed to be had. This isn't a case of an ordinary monster attacking the coastline, attacking the village, and everybody have to run and duck. This is the monster we already caught and caged. The monster that our judicial system set free. This is something we can change. This is something that it is up to us, you and me, the citizenry, to ensure that it never happens again. Do not let your voice be silent, because the next monster that is set free might attack one of us, our sister, our brother. Let's not let it happen again.
So, see you again next week, God willing. Next week, Monday. And where we will continue our discussion. Be safe, be alert, people, and drivers, be careful on the road. All right, we don't want any fatalities again or serious collisions again. So take care and goodbye till we see again. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Back to the music.
What, the Black Nation?